Welcome everyone to Riven. This is the latest release that runs beautifully on modern machines, which hasn't always been the case even for GOG releases, but I'll tell you about that later. This is a game that, of course, along with Myst, I remember fondly from my childhood. Me and my sister got Myst and Riven for Christmas one year. I can't remember who got which, but we both played the hell out of both of them. And I just remember being stunned by the stunningness of this freaking game. So, let me just play the intro cinematics because presaging modern games, there's a lot at the beginning. But, you know, I don't know, it's pretty good. So, let's just get started, shall we?
Thank God you've returned. I need your help. There's a great deal of history that you should know, but I'm afraid that I must continue my writing. Here. Most of what you'll need to know is in there. Keep it well hidden. For reasons you'll discover, I can't send you to Riven with a way out. But I can give you this. It appears to be a linking book back here to Dunny. But it's actually a one-man prison. You'll need it, I'm afraid, to capture Gan. Once you've found Catherine, signal me, and I'll come with a linking book to bring us back. There's also a chance, if this all goes well, that I might be able to get you back to the place that you came from.
Well, here we are, sort of. But how to get out? I won't do any much of the talking now, but we're in a place.
Yo? Na feriaje. Kada warepo. Modu wypomę po. Tagema. Rekoa. Tagema busu rekoa. Wisirapo. Umutika buku wa nai. Wisirapo. Umutika buku wa nai. Buku wa nai. Wisirapo. Buku wa nai. Buku wa nai. Buku wa nai. Buku wa nai.
So, well, that wasn't so bad. I don't know. I mean, games have long intros sometimes, and I have to say, let's do a let's play, and then just shut up forever and ever and ever, which some people might think is a good thing, but hey. So, Riven, then. Here we are, and there's so much for me to say and ask about as well. The funny thing is, well, it's not funny at all. The thing is, oh, hang on, actually. I'm gonna make this best, because this is what I remember from back in the day. You see, this was on GOG.com for long before this re-release on ScumVM, I guess, because the ScumVM screen pops up at the start. You can't see it necessarily, but you can kind of see the colors there, see? Which does slightly, momentarily take away the immersion, I guess, but I don't care. Because what you get for it is these freaking transitions that just didn't happen on fast PCs. Now, I guess these are a bit slow. Maybe I'll change them later, but I mean, it cannot be overstated how amazing this looked back in the day. I mean, even art style-wise, this thing is just beautiful. I mean, it's really fascinating these days because, as you can see, this is like a gorgeous, hyper-photorealistic world that's sort of just slightly trapped behind a layer of technological limitations. The resolution's low, the FMVs are pixely, but you can just see it shining through. And, yeah. So, the thing is, I've played this just really recently, maybe a month or two ago, and I have a whole thing of notes that I wrote down. So, I could just look at my notes to help me play through this without having to pause and write things down all the time. Or I could take other notes and maybe you could see the thought process. I don't know. What do you think? I won't do anything heavy in this episode, as it sort of is kind of an intro, but let's push some buttons. Let's twist some knobs. Yeah, but, like I said, I remember this because I guess maybe it was me that got Riven for Christmas, but I remember because we tried to install it and it wouldn't work, and we had to, exchange it and replace the discs. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. It's just a little story that happened. And I even remember when I was learning programming in QBasic, I was like, hey, I can make this engine. It's just clicking a bunch. And so I ripped all these screenshots and put them in like 8-bit GIF format and made a QBasic version of the first bit of Riven because I liked it so much. Of course, I'm pretty sure I must have looked up solutions to puzzles as well a lot because I was a kid and stuff was hard. But, yeah, you can see right from their founding, Cyan, I mean, nowadays they're doing this VR game, this VR from the ground up game, Firmament, which I'd tell you to check out the Kickstarter, but it's over and done and successful already, so, oh yeah, there's that guy. But you could tell they were always really pushing towards VR as much as they could. Even decades before it was viable, they were just pushing and pushing, and they so wanted to get to a place where games could look like this in real time and with all shackles thrown off. And this is just an achievement. But anyway, it's an achievement. So yes, what thinks anybody? I suppose this might be a challenging LP with a lot of text in it and a lot of puzzles and note-taking, as I said. But I'll hopefully remember to say a bunch of stuff of interest. Like, man, I got this game for Christmas and then I had to replace it and then I played it and oh man, yeah. But But yeah, this I believe is part of the missed 25th anniversary release, although I just bought this one game. I guess I should have bought the whole thing, really, come to think of it. But sometimes I'm just cheap and I forget that buying everything is actually cheaper when you buy everything. Whatever. So, I guess maybe that's projecting me or something. Oh, spoilers maybe. But yeah, because my stepdad had missed at some point and I saw him playing. And it was gorgeous and fascinating. And you know, because I was a dumb kid, I sat over his shoulder backseat driving, and it must have driven him nuts. Maybe that's why we got the game, so we could play them ourselves and not have to do that. Anyway. At some point, maybe I might even come up with some regular Fen babble, rather than me just gushing and praising games like I usually do. But, you know, that's part of the Fen babble. However, can you imagine in 1997, or I guess like 96 maybe, when they were working on this, the sheer computing power and time it would have taken to render this stuff? Can you even fathom? And this is what I said in that one thief mission, the work offering, or whatever it was I said. That's why I said it, because these things are works. And those are offerings, presumably. I mean, unless there's something altogether more horrible. Like, you know, it's dead children that just look like fruit. Hey, who's to say? Well, I guess that's some Fen babble for you, so... There's other stuff on that island, of course. But I can always come back. Well, I don't know if I want to take the maglev right now. Maybe I'll just kind of leisurely go and look at stuff. I always worried about missing things when I'm trying to show stuff off. There's also a zip mode, which I guess maybe I should turn on eventually. This is more pixely than I remember. It's just such a shame. We didn't notice any of this stuff back in the day. You know, those artifacts in the videos, that was just how all videos were, and they seemed really high fidelity for some reason. You know, it's just weird. But there's a lot of lore, and apparently there's... well, I mean, not apparently. There is a series of books, which I've never read. I just know the game, so I guess I'm a casual fan. But, you know. So here is a guy being worshipped as a god. Always a good sign for a healthy lack of ego there. And you can kind of see these papers and maybe guess. There's a lot of implicit things, too. Oh, and that Robin Miller music. Let's just appreciate that. Music doesn't get enough credit. I mean, it gets credit, but I mean, the thing in a game or in a movie or in any work, the first thing you notice are probably the visuals. Oh, yeah. But music, even when it's subtle, especially when it's subtle, when it doesn't call attention to itself over much, but it sets the mood, it's vital. So I guess it's a little weird me playing Riven and not having LP'd Mist. But, hey. So presumably this is real writing. Like there's this whole rich lore, there's Dunny writing, and they really did make this stuff, you know? They didn't just make up stuff for a game and be like, who cares? They really invented a language and a culture. It's really, really rich. So yeah, you can sort of spin this thing around if you want, but let's go down here. Now, I just love this. So, some people have criticized this sort of game as being, oh, it's just a point-and-click slideshow, but you know, it was a trade-off. You know, back then you really couldn't do anything even close to this. Even these days, this would probably be considered high-end graphics if this was real-time. Well, maybe we're slightly past that point now, but this was just so far ahead of its time, and I don't mind, because I like relaxing gaming experiences where you can kind of... You know, I don't like stressful ones a lot, where it's just shooting a lot. I like to be able to explore worlds, and even in FPSs, even in Doom and Duke and all those FPSs I used to play on easiest and just like quick save and quick load all the time and save scum, because I wanted to see what new was in the world. And the fighting, to me, the combat was more of a spice. It was there to prevent it from being boring rather than being the main focus. Like you walk into an area, you fight some, and it feels like it's full and there's something in it. But game like this, you just have this exploration and then you bring the friction and the fill out with puzzles. I don't, fill out is not nearly a good enough term. It implies disrespect or whatever, but the spice is the puzzles. And I just don't see what's wrong with walking around and just appreciating the environs, which I guess I'm not alone because we got walking simulators these days, which I'm still not sure whether that's supposed to be affectionate term or not, but you know, you spin this thing around and the doorway kind of goes to different places, so if you want to, you can go like all the way down here every single time, which I don't mind. I'm kind of impatient in a lot of ways, but for games like this, I'm super patient. I'm just like, yes, just having a nice stroll, just going back and forth. It's almost meditative. And real meditation is super hard and impossible, so stuff like this is great. I'm having a spiritually enlightening experience right now. But somehow this game visually is just so immersive, even though on the surface everything's pixely. The fact that behind the scenes it's so damn convincing, the light and the shadow. I mean, if you can look past the pixely, squint a bit or whatever, and especially when things are animating, all the light is perfect. And people are still struggling with lighting in CG these days. And yet here, you know, it's funny, because a lot of times an early example of something is more impressive than a lot of the later ones, and I think it might be because the early one, they know they have to get it right. They're like, this is a new thing, people might not be sure about this, we really, really gotta bring it to prove this idea out. See, that just looks almost real to me. And I think it's the lighting. But is there static lighting on the floor? I don't know about that. But anyways. Oh, I think I missed something. Yeah, so you kind of got to go back and forth, which, like I say, I don't mind doing on camera, but I kind of forgot that maybe I shouldn't do it not. Maybe one more rotation would actually put me in the right place, though. This, because I'm just thinking, geometrically speaking, I'm going to try to solve this game properly, because when I was a kid, like I said, I had to look up puzzles and... you know. But yeah, but later examples are just like, oh, it works, so man, we can be a little bit less concerned. Which is fine, you know, if you want to divert more of your effort to other things. So I think this might be the right way. Oh, easily entertained. So, yeah, the knife, the moiety knife, yes. So you see the things you can accomplish when you actually think about the puzzles instead of just kind of trial and erroring them. So that's some steam, and you block. I don't want to point out the graphical flaws too much. Oh yeah, there's this book here that I'm supposed to read. Now, I will say, I think this is something to do with some sort of lock mechanism. I can't quite remember, but yeah, there's always these buttons. Oh. There's always these buttons on the wall that you can press to spin the thing around. So, but do I actually want to spin the thing around from this locale? Not certain. Maybe because I lifted the gate up? I don't know. Let's see. And of course, because we can't... You can skip FMVs if you can see them playing on screen, but if it's just a sequence like that where you can't see it, you cannot skip it. So, rotating this is a bit of a thing. The game ain't perfect as much as I love it. There are one or two nitpicks I have, and I'll get to another later on, but... Right, so... Theoretically we could go here, but... In actuality, perhaps not. And now I'm a little bit worried because I've lost my bearings is what I'm trying to say here. But what am I trying to say here? Riven, it's a good game. Ah, but no. Fortunately, the whole game is not going to consist of me standing around spinning this room forever and ever and ever. Okay? Just to note. But if you're watching this, you're probably fans of this too, I guess. I don't know. If not, you should go play this. If you haven't played it and you think this looks interesting, go play it and then watch me because it'll spoil everything. And so I think now that I lifted up that one, the two gates, it's possible that I could go into that other one. And yeah. That I could go into that other one, and yeah. Of course, there is a team making the Starry Expanse project, which is essentially real Riven. You know, real Mist, where it was real time? Well, they're making a real Riven, and apparently recently they officially became partnered with Cyan to bring this to fruition, and oh my god, can I ever not wait to play it. It's gonna be, if it's anything like what it seems like it's gonna be, as good as be good, then it could be the realization of what this game was always meant to be. Beautiful fidelity, I just can't wait to see. Oh man. Even just these little shots like this. And can you imagine the effort? And this is 97, so they would not have been rendering this on your average consumer PC like maybe you could get away with these days. No, they would have been like on some kind of high-end, you know, like $250,000 hardware or something maybe. I don't know. Who even knows? But I guess I should stop at some point now, because if I don't want to do anything heavy, then I guess I'm going to have to start doing some puzzly stuff pretty soon here. But I'm guessing you just got to turn off the steam valves or something. It's a bridge. Hit every switch to the other location than what it starts at. That's the rule, isn't it? I can't wait to see all of this stuff in the Starry Expanse. Again, here's hoping it turns out well. Seems like it will, but man. So I think that now, having turned off the steam bridge stuff, which you'd think would like, oh I know, I'm turning it on, because off is like steam's just venting and on is it's giving power. Right, so looking at this beautiful rock wall, I'm going to leave it here. So yes, should I look at my notes to expedite the puzzle solving and sort of make it a smoother experience, or should I be like normal and really just write the stuff down like I normally would, and should I read through all the books, including that one, out loud? I don't know. Let me know your ideas. Until then, Riven.